What's up, everybody? My name is Terrence Warren, Cisco Tutor Guy. This lab will be an access list lab, and not just any access list lab, but I think it's similar, if not similar, really close to the one that's on the CCNA. I'm not sure. I just downloaded it, but I know it's one of two access list labs that that you can study to prepare for the CCNA labs. So what I'm going to do is go ahead and get started with this one, at least this version, and I hope you get the concepts and grasp what we're trying to do here, because it will help you in the exam. Alright, so in this access list lab, we usually, in the exam, you see there's a laptop that's consoled into a router. But since we're doing the packet tracer version, and for training purposes, we're just going to go right into the router. One, because the screen will be bigger and you'll be able to read the commands if we do it that way. So, alright, so we're going into the router. And in the instructions, let me close this for a minute. In the instructions, you have to create an access list with 3 statements, and the statements have to allow one of these computers, A, B, C, or D, access to the finance web server and deny everything else. So let's get started. We're going to get into this router. Go into the command line. Alright, so now that we're in the router, we're going to go ahead and create our access list. Now, because this is an extended access list, as long as we're using triple digits for the access list number, we're good. So, we started out with access list. We want to give it a number, so I'm going to say 110. Alright. And permit TCP. Now, what I like to do, there's a couple different ways to do this, but I like to put the host so that you don't have to use a wildcard mask for every time you put an IP address. So if you put host, you only have one IP address. So we're going to permit the host 192.168.33.3 to, and even it's not written, but to host 172.22.242.23 EQ80. EQ80 is the port that we're using to allow computer C to the finance web server. So let's take a look at where we got the IP addresses from. And I probably should have did a show run, but in the instructions, it'll give you one of these to figure out which one you want to allow, you're supposed to allow to the finance web server. So we look at the IP addresses, and this is where the 192.168.33.3 came from. So it's PCC. So we're allowing PCC to the finance web server. And here is the IP address of the finance web server. 172.22.242.23. Now, on the exam, you're not going to be able to scroll over and see what the IP addresses are. You're going to have to go into the router and look at the interface that's connected to that switch and get the IP addresses of the PCs that way. And you have to do the same for the finance web server. You have to do it through the router or that switch. Well, actually the router, because that's the only thing that you consoled into. So anyway, let's go back to our access list. Alright, so we've configured the first statement already. And now we can go with the second statement. And the second statement is where we at right here? Access list, and we gotta use the same access list number 110. Deny TCP any host 172.22.242.23. And all we did was repeat that same IP address of the finance web server. What we just said is we're going to allow computer C to access the finance web server, and then we're going to deny everybody else. So what this does, it denies the other host access to the finance web server, but it allows computer C. So this next statement is going to permit all other traffic, because remember, even though it's not written and you don't see it, there's an implicit deny at the end of each access list or access group. So unless you say otherwise, it will deny all other traffic. So we want to put a statement in to satisfy that. So the last statement in this access list will be access list 110 permit any. So here we go. Access list 110 permit IP, as in IP traffic, any. Now that should satisfy the instructions for allowing computer C to access the finance web server and deny all other hosts, but allow all other traffic. So now we got to go ahead and wrap it up and apply it to an interface. So interface FA0/1 IP access group, because it's three statements, so we have a group 110 and it's out or outbound. And you can copy, run, start, or write min. And that's it. That is how you configure the access list on the CCNA exam, or you know what I mean. It's the closest to whatever. It's going to be somewhere in that range. I don't know exactly. I don't remember exactly how it is, but you will have to configure three statements and allow something and deny everything else. So this is the closest simulation to the access list lab on the CCNA exam. So I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you learned and grasped the concepts. You can probably go online and find the exact instructions of what you would have to do, or just something close, but this should do it. I mean, I don't know if the exam is exactly like this one. It's been a while. It's been about a year or two when I took my CCNA, and I took the old version. So when I took the CCNA, it was still the 200-120. So I don't even know if the access list lab is still on there, or if they hadn't changed it. But I know the test did change. But either way, it's been fun. Thank you for watching. My name is Terrence Warren, Cisco Tutor Guy, and I'll see you in the next video.